Welcome to the Green Brotherhood.
Peace out. Can 100 able-bodied men take on one furry, stinky ape? Welcome to the Breen Brotherhood. My name is Lee. I'll be your host for the day. We're going to tackle this banana subject. It's an insane topic, one that requires surgical scientific precision. You have humanity torn apart, cast on two different sides, apes versus humans, humans versus apes. Everyone's going a little nuts about it. So we decided to take a 1 week break from our standard theological dives. We're going to get back into theology later next week when we cover the historical credibility of the resurrection. You don't want to miss that. We're going to go into historical sources, all that good stuff. But for this week, we just wanted to address this completely bananas topic. One thing we hope you do go bananas for, though, are the like and subscribe buttons down below. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. Help humanity keep its place on the internet as the alpha species and to spread the gospel of Christ when we're not doing that. Now, I'm going to be completely honest here, okay? From the top, I'm just going to tell you straight up, there is no chance in heaven that a silverback gorilla takes this one. Humanity wins every single time. It's not even close. And I think the reason that people think it's close is because a pop culture ape is a lot different from a real world Earth ape, right? Like in pop culture, apes have gotten a pretty good rep. You know, they've stormed skyscrapers like King Kong. You know, they've taken over the planet in Planet of the Apes. They're kind of depicted in video games as these kind of muscular creatures that can just flip rocks and mountains over and just, you know, pummel cities to death. And they're just like the undisputed kind of semi-kings of the jungle. They love bananas, apparently, in pop culture, even though in the real world, most silverback gorillas live in jungles and on mountains where bananas don't grow, so they don't even eat bananas. But yeah, pop culture has kind of convinced us that these gorillas are like some special, you know, killing machine of nature. And it's just not the case at all. Humanity, we're the undisputed kings of Earth. You know what I mean? Humanity has conquered squirrels. Humanity has conquered alligators. Humanity has conquered leopards and bears, both of which would destroy a silverback gorilla without even blinking. Humanity has conquered whales. Like we've conquered everything. Everything that can beat an ape, we've beaten. Like we would turn bears and leopards into rugs and hang them on our walls. Like what do you think we would do to apes if they were popular? We would wear them as our coats, which is why this entire thing, it has to be a hypothetical where we kind of bring down the abilities of the humans. We have to do that because in the real world, silverback gorillas, or, you know, Western and Eastern lowland gorillas, as they're actually known, are actually a critically endangered species. I think I read somewhere that there are less than 1,000 mountain roaming silverback gorillas in the world left over. So before we even jump into the hypothetical, we just wanted to encourage you, if you haven't done this before and want to kind of chip in, you can donate to different relief and conservation funds that will help kind of save these gorillas and take care of them and just put conservation efforts into place. We have the gorillafund.org and coco.org. These are credible nonprofit organizations that push for these types of conservation efforts. Donate to the apes and the monkeys right now because they need all the help they're going to get. But yeah, in order for this whole thing to even work, in order for us to even get to a place where humanity is threatened, we've got to deal with a very different hypothetical kind of humanity. You know what I mean? Because in the real world, if I see an ape, I'm pulling out my pew-pew and he's going down. It's that simple. Or I'm grabbing a spear and he's going down. You don't even need 100 guys to do it. 1 or 2 guys with good spears and training or a rifle, and, you know, Donkey Kong is biting the dust. In our hypothetical, let's try and outline what the premise will be to make this as fair as possible. So for starters, humans cannot use weapons in this metaphor. They can't use any weapons, no rocks, no clubs, no spears, no spikes. So we're going to downgrade human intelligence at least to the point where it can't use technology. Let's put the scenario on a kind of open field with walls. So the humans can't escape. The ape can't escape. No one can escape. But there's enough room for 100 or 101 creatures to maneuver and fight with each other. On top of this, we're going to completely buff the stats of the ape just to give it a fighting chance. I know you saw Donkey Kong hunting for Mario in Super Smash Brothers and knocking out people with a one-punch KO. But in reality, most silverback gorillas are between 5 and 6 feet tall. They're usually not over 6 feet. It's kind of exceptional when they get over 400 pounds, or anywhere from 300 to 400 pounds. They're usually vegan, which means they eat a bunch of plants and leaves and like bugs. So like ape silverbacks are vegans. Like if they had it their way, silverbacks would be drinking soy milk and eating avocado toast and probably watching The View or something. Like these are not like the most dietary wise intimidating creatures. They have a lot of muscle because genetics are crazy. And the biggest strength of the silverback is definitely its strength. Silverbacks can lift hundreds and hundreds of pounds. They're extremely explosive and violent. They have a bite that has 1,300 psi pressure on it. The max record that I read was that they could lift up to 2,200 pounds. Obviously, the average silverback's not going to do that, but they can lift hundreds, close to thousands of pounds. So we're going to max out the silverback stats in this metaphor, okay? Silverback is going to be 6 feet tall. He's going to be max strength, max bite ferocity, max muscle density for an average silverback. But he's not going to be 10 feet tall. He's not going to be 40,000 feet tall. He's just going to be 6 feet tall, which, you know, my short kings, we got this. So just for a completely fair premise, it's 100 able-bodied men. These are not 100 hipsters from Brooklyn or from Journal Square or Hoboken. These are 100 able-bodied men, 150 to 200 pounds on average endurance, average strength. Another thing is the attitude of the combatants, right? So we can't have a discussion about whether 100 men would win or one ape would win if someone says, well, humans get scared and the first guys running in would get instantly bitten and killed and everyone else would get scared and run off. Yeah, that's true. That's probably what would happen in reality. You know what else would happen in reality? The humans are grabbing machine guns and he's going to ape heaven. So let's get that out of the way and just for the sake of this discussion, assume that every single creature in this fight has bloodlust, okay? The silverback wants to kill all the humans and all the humans want to kill the silverback and none of them are afraid of each other. They're just going to fight. It's mono on mono. Monkeys are not known to have great endurance. They just have horrible endurance. They have a lot of explosive power, a lot of explosive violence and explosive strength. The gas tank gets empty really, really quick. From Forbes, Stacy Rosenbaum, an assistant professor of anthropology at the University of Michigan, where she teaches about primate behavior, said, the silverback will certainly get tired and probably fairly quickly because gorillas are not endurance athletes in any way like humans are. Humans are known for their endurance. They've been endurance hunters since the beginning of time. I saw this documentary, I believe it was on the Discovery Channel, where these South African hunters would just chase down antelope. Like they would just run after antelope for like 10 hours straight. Okay, they couldn't catch antelope. The antelope would just sprint away and they'd like follow the dust trail, but they would just keep running and running and running after this antelope. And eventually, after 10 hours, this antelope would just get gassed out and tired from running from 10 humans with spears. And he'd just like kind of lay down and pass out and they just go up to him and eat him. So humans are well known for their endurance. They're exceptionally effective at endurance. So the biggest weakness of the silverback in this scenario happens to be one of the biggest strengths of the humans, which is an endurance feat. Finally, the humans are allowed to organize, right? Because they are still humans. They just can't use weapons. So I, your humble host of the night, will nominate myself to be the commander of the human forces. Naturally, I will be standing in the back of the crowd because those first 3 guys, I don't care how strong they are getting eaten and torn apart, and it's going to be horrible. But somebody's got to organize the human forces. And, you know, it's my honor and privilege to volunteer the rest of you to fight this ape and die. But I'll be in the back commanding. We're going to go by like a several point battle plan of how I would completely dominate, annihilate this silverback ape, gorilla, monkey loser. Okay. Number 1, we got numbers. There's 100 of us. We're surrounding this guy. Okay. We're not overthinking it. We're not doing waves like we're fighting in a Napoleon War somewhere. We're surrounding this guy. I'm telling all 100 humans, boys, get around this hairy ape. Okay, we're covering him from every single angle. There's not going to be 1 inch of fur on him that's not going to have a human covering his angle. Completely surround him, okay? Number 2, we're going all at once, all right? We're not doing this 10 and then 10 and then 10. All 100, charge. Oh, but an ape weighs 500 pounds, 600 pounds. Yeah, well, 100 men on average of 150 pounds of weight weigh 15,000 pounds. So we're going to surround this ape and we're going to charge him all at once, 500 pounds of force versus 15,000 pounds of force. The math ain't mathing. You know what I mean? This ape is going to get swarmed. He's not going to know what to do. You know, he's going to be screaming, he's going to be shouting, he's going to be in his chest, and ain't going to help him one bit because we're going to take him out. Point number 3 is we're not going to try and punch this guy, okay? We're not we're not doing a boxing match, okay? We're not doing a pay-per-view. This is not the UFC. My command to the 100 men will be, we're going to swarm and grab this thing. We're going to grab them. We're going to bite. We're going to scratch. The goal will be for the 100 men to grab each of the limbs of this silverback. I'm going to command all the men, when you rush this thing, everyone's going to try and grab one hand, one leg, whatever. Everyone's just going to swarm. I want 10 or 15 guys at a time jumping on his neck, jumping on his left arm. I want them swarming. Even if he grabs one or two, even if he bites another one, he's not going to have any space to move. There's 15,000 pounds of human flesh running towards this guy. The goal will not be to punch him to death like he's a piñata. The goal will be to smother this dude, to just strangle him down and suppress him and just lock him down. And because apes get tired very quickly, maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes tops, maybe 5, 10, 15 guys are getting hammered and hit around. But after 1 minute, this big silverback's going to get tired. We're going to be grabbing his legs. We're going to be throwing him to the ground and holding him down. Another secret tactic that the humans have on their side would be wet willies. I would be encouraging the humans at every second of this combat engagement, at this fight for survival, to apply as much saliva as possible onto their fingers and stick them in this silverback's ears. What this would accomplish would be to demoralize the enemy, break his ape spirit. While he's committing resources and strength to protecting himself from the wet willies, we'll be getting under his armpits, we'll be grabbing his short little ape legs, and we'll be just pinning him down, collapsing, putting all our weight on top of him. And then finally, in my ape conquering strategy, it's time to meet Harambe, baby. You're about to go to monkey heaven. When he's on the ground, whatever amount of men are left over, maybe 20 or 30 men, I'm going to equip them with the freshest pair of Timberland boots that you could possibly find from the Bronx or from Brooklyn. Shout out to my Bronx and Brooklyn people. You know just how much them Timberlands hurt if you ever got jumped. We're going to give them steel toe tip Timberlands, okay? We're going to equip them, all the reserves with it. And while 40 to 50 of our guys are holding this thing down, the remaining amount of men, 10, 20, whatever's left, they're going to have their fresh Tims on. They're going to start kicking this monkey in the face, kicking him on the floor, punching him. It's going to be free for all. They're going to stomp him out. He's not going to last more than a few minutes. They're just going to like suffocate him or break his face. And I mean, the silverback stands no chance whatsoever. Once he's tired, he's pinned down, everyone's punching him in the face and hitting him with Timberland boots. Night, night, baby. You're going to go meet another monkey. I don't know any other famous monkeys that died other than Harambe. And that's it. That's the end of it. That's the end of it. I mean, if we were fighting King Kong, you know, I'd say we're going to need a lot more than 100 guys. But even King Kong fell, you know what I mean? Like, we took him out too, and that was pretty light work. Like, we've made, like, how many reboots of King Kong, and every single time we wind up beating his booty? Because people completely overestimate what one silverback gorilla looks like, how big it is, how strong it is, how ferocious it is. Like, pop culture has done a number. Like, call this guy's marketing team and PR team because they've done a great job. Kind of boosted his reputation to this cosmic level. Like, if a ape got mad at me, he could, like, touch the corner of my building and it'd all collapse on me. But in reality, apes aren't that big. They are pretty strong, but they get tired very quickly. 100 guys swarming it really quickly, determined to win, obviously. If they get scared and run off, it kind of defeats the whole purpose. My final casualty count, final summary is I would estimate anywhere between 5 to 15 or 20 humans get seriously injured or injured. I mean, easily 60 to 80 of the humans come out of this unscathed. I see absolutely no way more than 10 people die doing this. I think if you really wanted to be lean about it, based off the stats I was given earlier about silverback gorillas, I think it would only take maybe 15 to 25 humans tops to do this. It doesn't take anywhere remotely close to 100. You already know this is a Bible channel after all. So we got to sneak in a verse there just at the end to just, wrap it up with a nice bow. Genesis chapter 9, verse 2 to 3. The fear and dread of you will fall on all the beasts of the earth and on all the birds in the sky, on every creature that moves along the ground, and on all the fish in the sea. They are given into your hands. Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. And we see this manifest in the real world from just how dominating humanity's impact on the earth, including apes, has been. Like we've basically conquered all of natural reality on the planet. I mean, if they don't innately fear us, they've got great reason to fear us because humans have been somewhat abusive stewards of this planet that God has given to us. And it's part of the reason why, outside of like the silly hypotheticals and funny matchups, we have to always kind of cherish and take pride in this land that we've been given. And I think that applies to some of the conservation efforts we mentioned before. As a final reminder, you can donate to gorillafund.org and coco.org to help these creatures out because, again, they are critically endangered because humans just don't know how to control themselves and they hunt these poor creatures for sport, for trading on black markets, for all kinds of evil things. So donate if you've got the money to donate. Remember your responsibility as a Christian towards stewardship of this planet. If you're tasked on a team of 100 humans to fight a silverback gorilla, avoid it at all possible chances, because even if the 100 humans win this easily, if you're on the front line, you're becoming smush and poop. That's my take on the man versus gorilla argument. If you disagree with anything I said, just know that you're completely wrong. But please let me know how wrong I am in the comments below. Maybe there's some insider angle I missed on this whole thing. I think it's pretty easy to kind of figure out. But God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Humanity rules. Apes suck. Peace out.